The World Cup that was supposed to unite the world is suddenly dividing it. 27 days from now, the 2026 FIFA World Cup begins. 27 days. The opening ceremony is ready. The stadiums are waiting. The television deals have been signed. FIFA expects billions of viewers and billions of dollars in revenue. On the surface, everything appears normal. And yet, on this day, countries across multiple continents are openly challenging FIFA in ways that nobody expected when this tournament was awarded. Some are threatening diplomatic action. Some are protesting ticket policies. Some are questioning security. Others are asking whether football's governing body has simply become too powerful. This is not one protest. This is not one controversy. This is not one disagreement. This is a collection of frustrations from different countries, different governments, and different football associations that together tell us something much bigger. Because for perhaps the first time since FIFA expanded this tournament to 48 teams, the World Cup itself has become a political argument. And when nations begin arguing about the World Cup, football enters dangerous territory. So today, let's do something simple. Let's look calmly at the full picture. Which countries are pushing back against FIFA's plans, why these revolts are happening, how FIFA has responded, and what all of this means for a tournament that is now only weeks away. Start with Europe, because Europe's frustration with FIFA has been growing for years, but in recent months it has become impossible to ignore. Several European football associations have privately complained about the expanded 48-team format. More matches, more travel, more commercial obligations, less recovery time. National federations increasingly believe FIFA's pursuit of revenue has come at the expense of players and supporters. Officials inside multiple federations have questioned whether a 104-match World Cup has simply become too large, because this is no longer a traditional tournament. This is a sporting event spread across 3 countries, 16 cities, thousands of miles, and nearly 6 weeks of competition, and not everyone believes that is good for football. Then there is the issue of money. Supporter groups across Europe have criticized ticket pricing, accommodation costs, and travel expenses. Some fan organizations argue that attending even one group stage match could cost thousands of dollars. For many supporters, the World Cup increasingly feels like an event built for corporate hospitality rather than ordinary fans. And when football supporters begin feeling excluded from football's biggest event, resentment follows quickly. Now let's talk about Latin America. Because some of the strongest criticism of FIFA has come from the very region where football means almost everything. Several governments and football commentators have openly questioned whether smaller football nations are benefiting from FIFA's commercial model. The tournament is bigger than ever. The revenue is larger than ever. The sponsorship deals are larger than ever, yet many federations continue struggling financially. Some officials have privately asked a simple question. If the World Cup is generating record money, why are so many football associations still facing financial problems? That question has become increasingly uncomfortable for FIFA. Now move to Africa. Because African federations have raised another issue entirely: travel and logistics. For many participating nations, preparing for a tournament spread across North America creates enormous financial and organizational challenges. Training camps, visa procedures, long-distance flights. Multiple time zones, different climates. The cost of preparing for this World Cup is significantly higher than many previous tournaments. For some smaller federations, simply organizing participation has become a major operation. Again, the issue isn't whether these teams want to participate. Of course they do. The issue is whether FIFA's vision of a bigger World Cup has unintentionally created barriers for some of the countries it claims to include. Now let's talk about the players. Because perhaps the loudest revolt of all has come from footballers themselves, the modern football calendar has reached a breaking point. Club World Cups, international tournaments, league competitions, continental championships, commercial tour, friendlies, players are playing more matches than at any time in football history. Medical experts have repeatedly warned about fatigue and injury risks. Several high-profile players have openly discussed burnout. Some have questioned whether football's governing bodies are prioritizing revenue over player welfare, and FIFA has found itself at the center of that debate. Because every new tournament means more matches, every new format means more travel, every expansion means more physical demands, and increasingly, players are asking where the limit actually is. Here's something worth sitting with. Every group involved in these arguments is talking about something slightly different. Fans are talking about affordability, players are talking about workload. Federations are talking about logistics, governments are talking about governance. Yet all of these conversations point toward one larger issue: who exactly is the World Cup for the players? For the supporters? For national associations? Or for the commercial machine that modern football has become? That question sits at the center of almost every criticism FIFA is facing right now. And FIFA's response has been remarkably consistent. The organization argues that expanding football creates opportunities: more teams, more countries, more investment, more development money, more global participation. FIFA believes football should be bigger. Its critics increasingly believe bigger does not always mean better. And somewhere between those two positions lies the future of the World Cup. Because despite all the complaints, despite all the criticism, despite all the revolts, something extraordinary is still about to happen. The World Cup is coming. The best players on earth are about to represent their countries. Billions of people will watch. Children will stay awake long after midnight. Families will gather around televisions. Entire nations will stop for 90 minutes at a time. And when the referee blows the whistle for the opening match, something happens that football has always done remarkably well. It makes the rest of the world wait. For a few hours, the arguments become quieter, the politics become smaller, the debates become background noise, and football takes over. But this time, something feels different. The criticism surrounding this tournament is broader than usual. The questions are deeper than usual. The resistance is louder than usual. Countries are not revolting because they hate football. They are revolting because they care deeply about what football is becoming. And perhaps that is the real story of the 2026 World Cup. Not simply who wins it, not who lifts the trophy, but what kind of tournament the World Cup becomes from this point forward, because football at this scale is never just a competition. It is a reflection of the world that created it. And right now, that world is having a serious argument about FIFA. I'd genuinely like to know how you're reading this. Do you believe countries are right to challenge FIFA's direction? Or do you think these criticisms will disappear the moment the football starts? And most importantly, do you think the 2026 World Cup will be remembered for the matches or for the revolt surrounding them? Leave your answer in the comments. I read every single one. Because these conversations are becoming impossible to ignore, the resistance has been heard, the tournament is approaching, and the biggest World Cup in history is almost here.